Hi, today we're going to talk about multi-step equations. So first we start with our bell work. Simplify this distribute problem. Negative 8 times a positive 7 is negative 56. Then a negative 8 times a minus y, that's the same as a negative times a negative, is a positive. 8 times y is 8y. We could write it like this, or we could flip it 8y minus 56, as long as the 8 stays positive and the 56 stays negative. Okay, 331 students went on a field trip. 6 buses were filled, and 7 students traveled in cars. How many students were in each bus? Well, this was actually a problem we did a few days ago in the notebook, so this might be something you're familiar with. But 331 is our total. Then we had 6 buses, so however many buses, plus 7 students traveling in cars. Then we subtract 7 on both sides, divide by 6 to figure out how many students were in each bus. The last one, extend your thinking. Fill in the blank so that when you solve the equation, the answer is x equals 8. Well, what we can do, like a shortcut we can do, is just right now change this to be 8. And then it's just solving. Subtract 5 on both sides. That's, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. And then divide by 8. 16 divided by 8 is 2. So we now know that a 2 has to go right here. So it's almost like switching what we're looking for. Okay, then we started class with some standing whiteboards. So that means everyone's standing around the room practicing solving equations, because that's exactly what we're doing now, is combining this, combining like terms and distributing. We're joining that with solving equations. So we're going to start with this half and simplify this without worrying about the other side of the equation. I'll draw that wall that I like to draw. Okay, we're not worrying about the 12. But over here, we have 3x and a plus 4x. So altogether, that is 7x and then a minus 2 equals 12. Now it's just a 2-step equation. Subtract 2 on both sides and then divide by 7 on both sides. Okay, same idea, but this time we're going to just simplify the right side and ignore the left side. So I have a 2y minus 5y. So 2y minus 5y, that's a negative 3y. And then I just have this minus 2 chilling over there. It doesn't have anything to combine with. And now it's a 2-step equation. Add 2 to both sides, divide by negative 3 on both sides. All right, we've got some distribute over here. So again, ignore the 20, just deal with what we can simplify. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times a minus 2 is minus 10. We still have equals 20, and now we just add 10 to both sides and then divide by 2. I'm sorry, add 10 to both sides and then divide by 5, which would get a 6 as our answer. Okay, a little tricky here, but that's okay, we can do it. I draw that wall, it just reminds me to keep things organized. This is a negative 3 times z, so it's a negative 3z. And a negative 3 times a plus 1 becomes a minus 3. And that equals 15. Add 3 to both sides, then divide by negative 3. Okay, then we split up into different groups, because now we have a challenge. There's an x on both sides, and we have not done that before. But we don't like that, I'll tell you that. We don't like an x on both sides. So what we're going to do is just choose one of them to get rid of. Okay? I personally like to get rid of the smaller x, but that's not a rule. That's just a trick I've learned that makes it easier to do. So in this case, we have a 6x and a 4x. 4 is smaller, so the opposite of a positive 4x is a minus 4x on both sides of the equal sign. Okay, so we subtract 4x on both sides of the equal sign, which means we do 6x minus 4x. So now we just have 2x minus 8. And now it's just a 2-step equation. Our goal is to get x by itself, so add 8 to both sides and then divide by 2. Okay, now another one. A negative 3x and a positive 5. Again, personally, I like to get rid of the smaller one. which a negative 3 is definitely smaller. The opposite of a negative 3x is a positive 3x on both sides of the equal sign. So now we just have 4 equals 8x minus 12. Add 12 to both sides of the equal sign and divide by 8. Okay, finally, after all that whiteboard stuff, we get to our notebook. Page 28, you write down the goal. I can solve multi-step equations. And what we've just done is practiced multi-step equations, where you had to do some distributing, some combining like terms, and then eventually it became a two-step equation. So you'll write down the steps here. First, you simplify each side of the equal sign, like independently. Just do the left side, just do the right side, make it as simple as possible. Then, if there's a variable on both sides of the equal sign, choose one of them to get rid of. I always like to choose the smaller one, but that's not a rule. I've just noticed it makes things easier for me. Then the last step, you're now only going to have a two-step equation left, so you just solve it. Solve that two-step equation. Then these are examples from the notebook. So I need to simplify both sides. Well, the left side's simple. Like it's simplified, it's done. The right side has a little work to do. 5 times a is 5a. 5 times a minus 1 is a minus 5. And then 3a plus 1. Now we've simplified both sides. The second step, if there's a variable on both sides, choose one of them to get rid of. Well, we can get rid of, I like the smaller one, so let's get rid of the 3. 3a, it's a positive 3a, the opposite of a positive 3a is a minus 3a on both sides of the equal sign. Now we have 1 equals 2a minus 5, and it's just a two-step equation. Add 5 to both sides and then divide by 2. Okay, this is a crazy one, okay? Absolutely crazy. Draw that wall. It just helps me stay organized. Now we need to simplify the left side and then simplify the right side. So first off, this minus 4 is not in any parentheses. It's just chilling there. So I'm going to write it down. And then we're going to distribute negative 3 times x is a negative 3x. Negative 3 times a minus 1, that's a negative times a negative is a positive. 3 times 1 is 3. And now we do the other side. 2 times a negative 4 is a negative 8. 2 times x, that's a positive 2x. And then this minus 6 is not in the parentheses, so we don't do anything with it. Now we can combine some like terms. Just on the left side, let's combine. So this is a minus 4 plus 3. So negative 4 plus 3, that's just a minus 1 or a negative 1. This minus 3x has nothing on this side to combine with. All right, we have this negative 8 minus 6 gives us negative 14, and this plus 2x has nothing to combine with. So step 1 was just simplify everything as much as you can. Check. Step 2, if there's an x on both sides or a variable on both sides, choose one of them to get rid of. I like to get rid of the smaller one. We have a positive 2 and a negative or a minus 3. A negative or a minus is smaller than a positive, even though 3 seems like it should be bigger. But a minus is smaller. So positive 3x is the opposite, right? If this is minus 3x, the opposite is a positive 3x. So now we just have negative 1 equals negative 14 plus 5x. 2x plus 3x is 5x. Then you just add 14 to both sides and then divide by 5, and that's going to be a decimal. And decimals are fine. Decimals happen. Okay, then so those both were from the notebook. Now you turn the page and you only have to choose 6. Some of these are really long and crazy, but you choose 6 to solve. And if you right now want to go see the answers to those, just go back on Canvas and find the notebook on Canvas. It has the answers for you. And then homework time, and then we end with some challenge questions. So first we distribute 2 times d is 2d minus 2 times a minus 4 is a minus 8. And then plus 3, because that's not in the parentheses, so we don't do anything with it, equals negative 7. Combine like terms, 2d doesn't change, but minus 8 plus 3, so that's like a negative 8 plus 3, 8. That's a minus 5 is negative 7. Add 5 to both sides, divide by 2. Okay, the next one, there's nothing to simplify on either side. But we do have an e on both sides of our equal sign, which we don't like. So I'll get rid of this 4e on both sides. And we end with 3e plus 3 equals negative 12. Subtract 3 on both sides, and then divide by 3 on both sides. Extend your thinking. Write a word problem that could be represented by this equation. This is crazy. So maybe I like to do money, right? That's an easy one. My goal is to earn $100. I already have $25. I have 2 jobs. At one of my jobs, I earn $7 an hour, and at one of my jobs, I earn $5 an hour. How many hours do I have to work at each job to get $100? That could be an example of a word problem that could go here. Okay, that's our beginning of solving multi-step equations. You got this. Bye.